I remember gold fever from the original show. Welcome to another DuckTales 2017 review. I'm Jon Berry, and today I'm reviewing DuckTales Season 2, Episode 10, The 87-Cent Solution. In another exciting episode with more callbacks to the original series from the 80s, the rivalry between Glomgold and Scrooge and their little bad other companies is furthered. Before I continue, if you find yourself enjoying this review, please leave a like. Also, to stay up to date on all my stuff, consider following me on social media. You can also check out my website as well. Links are in the description. And my question for you today will be, what do you think of the 87-cent solution? Let me know it down in the comments. Now back to the review. As I said at the start of the review, I remember the episode featuring gold fever from the 1980s, but I watched them in the 2010s since I was not alive in the 80s. But the show does have a twist. It's not quite the same. Kind of like how the Treasure of the Found Lamp was not a total ripoff of, or really at all, a remake of Treasure of the Found Lamp. Some similar premise, but they twisted in a way to make it, I think, more interesting. But I'll save more of how they twisted gold fever for later. But there's another reference to the first series that I really want to get in, and it's specifically in the original series intro, in its title sequence. In that original sequence, there is a scene where Scrooge walks into an energy field, an electric energy field, and this episode references it by having Donald do the exact same thing. So instead of, maybe doing it on accident, as I think it was pulled from one of the episodes in the original series, it's done clear on purpose as Donald's testing a new security system that Gyro designed for Scrooge McDuck. And then Donald has two more scenes later, but we'll discuss that later as well. The MacGuffin of this episode is 87 cents, which takes everyone aback except for Scrooge. Everyone's surprised by this. So Scrooge is missing 87 coins out of his vault, and he's freaking out over it. And when the people hear that it was only 87 cents, they're like, okay, because they're taken aback by it. Who will freak out over 87 cents when you have multi-trillion in your gold vault? Scrooge blames Glomgold for the theft of those few coins. If you have yet to see the episode, pause now and go watch it. Then come back to finish this video, as I will be spoiling the episode. But before I continue, this video is help made possible by my patrons on Patreon. Patreon is a platform that allows my fans to directly support their favorite creators. Before I continue, this video is help made possible by my patrons on Patreon. Patreon is a platform that allows fans to directly support their favorite creators. By supporting me on Patreon for as low as $1 a month, not only are you supporting me and allowing me to create new and better content, but you also get access to all my scripts, my bloopers, and any other cut content from my channel, including unedited audios. Back to the review. Glomgold does admit his guilt by the end of the episode, and he does so when he is tricked by Huey, and then flashbacks are used by both Glomgold and Scrooge to explain all the events of the episode, even the events that us, the audience, were not privy to, which sometimes does happen, but I do sometimes like us audience being kept in the dark too. So what happened is that Glomgold uses a time device that can pause time, which does allude to time travel that Gyro did in the previous episode from a certain point of view, but Gyro clearly was the one who invented this time device that can pause time because Manny, the headless main host, is taking it out with a bunch of scientific garbage, and it falls out and Glomgold steals it. But Glomgold uses that time device to pause time to steal those 87 cents. But only after he fails to steal even more. But then he figured, I can't take it all, so I'll just take a little bit and hope, and it should be enough to drive Scrooge crazy and make Scrooge lose his mind. And it kinda does. And Glomgold also purposely makes up gold fever to trick Huey into thinking Scrooge had contracted it. So that's the twist on the gold fever. It's totally made up in this series. It's not a real thing, which I kinda like. I also really like how every character slowly begins to put on surgical masks, and the way like they put them on, like one character does it, then we see another character, then another character, and it's always a couple scenes apart. I really like that, and it's like they don't want to get sick as well. But it of course fails for Glomgold, as Scrooge does come to his senses. But only after he sneezes and realizes, oh, I am getting sick. And then they kind of like figure Glomgold has to be behind it, especially when they figured out gold fever was faked, which is only alluded to and not directly stated, which I really like. So what they do is, Scrooge and the rest decide to fake his death, to fake Scrooge's death, so that Glomgold will admit his guilt, and it works. And Harry, as I said earlier, is the one who gets Glomgold to admit responsibility and guilt by saying that no one could have even considered or dreamed of doing such a scheme as to steal those 85 cents. And all the other things that Scrooge was claiming as part of his, part of his downward spiral before he came to his senses. And of course, it infuriates Glomgold that they are just dismissing that somebody could have been behind it, and he wants essentially the credit for beating Scrooge, even underhanded, and he still wants the credit, and so he gets up and admits his guilt. It's kind of, they use Glomgold's own greed, if you will, but let's say pride. It's more pride that gets Glomgold in this episode, that gets him to admit his guilt. Another thing is, they all forgot to tell Donald that it was not a real funeral, that it was fake. So when Donald sees Scrooge alive, he faints, and this is pure gold, but it's not gold fever. And another thing to at the funeral scene, Donald is of course weeping, and he literally says, Donald says, he was too young. You know how old Scrooge is? Well, Scrooge doesn't like to be reminded of his age, so let's move on. The next episode is going to be another Della episode. Will she get back home in this episode? We just have to wait and see. Oh, and before I forget, Mrs. Beakley's last line was awesome, it was great. She told the kids that next time Scrooge goes crazy, to call her and not deal with it themselves. I just like that, cause, she probably would have been able to handle it so much calmer than they did. But regardless, thank you for watching my latest review. If you enjoyed it, as I said earlier, leave a like. New videos are coming out every week, so consider subscribing and turning on notifications so YouTube knows that you want to be notified of when I release new content. Also, feel free to check out the video or playlist on screen now. Lastly, have a good day or good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.